This is my first video posted to the monocle perspective, and this channel is going to be devoted to understanding the reality that we're in while we're here. I think that's everybody's question. What is this life? What's it about? What's the meaning of all of it? Why do we do the things in life that we seem to be forced to do or programmed to do at times? And other channels on YouTube have inspired me to talk about my understanding of this. And hopefully it will help open minds of other people that come across this video. I guess the one thing that I've come across watching a lot of perspective videos on YouTube is the whole concept of Loosh, and that we were sent here as cows basically on this prison planet so that they could harvest our suffering, our Loosh, the energy that comes off our suffering. And I guess for most people that's the only way they can explain why they're suffering in this realm. And I don't think I necessarily subscribe to that belief, after watching and understanding where they're coming from. I mean, I get it. There seems to be a lot of unnecessary suffering. But I don't think it's for harvesting. Some of my conclusions, and this is going to be a series of videos talking about why I've come to the understanding that I have. And my conclusion is it's a paradox, if you will, a dual understanding. So if there's a higher part of us here that has come down here or sent down here, either way, whether we choose to or whether God has put us down here, there's an obvious creator. It was to experience suffrage. How could we fully appreciate heaven if we haven't, or paradise, if we haven't gone through things that aren't heaven or paradise? A little bit of hell, if you will. I don't think that we're in a hell necessarily, although at times we've convinced ourselves that that we are, or that the suffering that we're going through is excruciating. And I don't mean physically. Sometimes I think mental anguish is probably worse than physical anguish. And I think that we have to go through this so that we can fully appreciate heaven once we get there, or the paradise of heaven. How can you understand love if you haven't experienced hate? How can you experience or appreciate joy if you haven't experienced sadness? The duality of these things give us a greater understanding. Some of the Loosh people talk about how inhumane it is to create a realm where one living creature must die to propagate, or so that another living creature can live. Well, if you believe in Jesus, he died so that we could live. It's a perfect example of his sacrifice. And I think that in a lot of ways the evil Satan, devil, whatever you want to call him, tries to defile the natural order of things. And we've seen that through the transgenderism movement or the gay movement, and defiling God's natural order of man and woman, or heterosexual relationships, and how they've tried to make that look so bad lately in the past few years. It almost seems like this is speeding up, this propagation of these things. And I kind of have come to the understanding, at least thus far, my understanding is always growing. I'm always looking to understand, come to a greater understanding of things here. but that this realm isn't the end. This isn't, there's something past this, you know. Search your inner knowing about it. And I think we all understand that there's something beyond this. And, you know, I've listened to a lot of NDEs or near-death experience people. They all have very similar yet different experiences when they die, of going to meet God or the Creator, and, you know, the overwhelming love that they experience and those sorts of things. And so it's a greater understanding. It's a greater understanding of where we are, this place that we've been sent to. And I think that as you grow and come to an understanding from maybe being a conspiracy theorist, or people like to call themselves truthers now, you've come to the point where you realize that nothing in this world is as it's been presented to us. And the old saying, ignorance is bliss. And I see people, had a chance to go to a basketball game, college level basketball game, where I was given the tickets, and I haven't really been into sports for a long time, because I think you outgrow those things on this journey. And seeing the people there and how excited they get, you know, sometimes I wish I could be ignorantly blissful again and experience that joy of rooting for your home team or whatever. You know, I enjoyed my time there. Took some grandsons with me and my wife, and we had a good time. But it just wasn't that blissful ignorance is gone. I think I'm past that, and probably a lot of people are past that. Is this a Loosh Farm? No, I don't think so. I really don't think so. If this is a quote simulation, and we live in this, and there's life after this realm, then it is a learning experience. It's coming to know Christ. It's coming to know God, and that everything around us is a reflection of Him and His sacrifice for us. It's we have to experience the suffering. We have not experienced anywhere the suffering that Christ did on the cross. You know, a lot of the people in the Loosh movement don't believe in Jesus, or any other organized religion. You know, they do believe in a creator, the archons or whatever that created us to loosh us. You know, Dr. Monroe, I find his talks very interesting, and you know, I'm inclined to think that he was communicating with demonic entities and that sort of thing. They'll give you enough truth to lead you astray and go the wrong way. And I think that's what they did with him. And from my understanding, and I haven't tried this, but if you contact the Monroe Institute and ask them about the Loosh, they will ignore you, or they almost deny that aspect that he wrote about in his book, one of his books, and I forget the title of it. So I'll end this short introductory video here. And the reason I've called this channel The Monocle Perspective is because I'm Mandela affected in a lot of ways, and I'm 100% sure that the Monopoly Man had a monocle. You know, I remember that specifically. That's one of my anchor Mandela effects, is that he had a monocle. Without a doubt. So we'll call this the monocle perspective. So we're looking through the monocle for greater understanding, and I'll post a couple videos a week, and we'll go from there. So I look forward to comments. Comment what your thoughts are about Loosh, and we'll see you on the next one.